I ran towards the edge of the dock. I got on my stomach.
All right, and good morning and welcome to the video live stream for our WSJM morning show. I'm Ken Lundberg, and our special guest this morning is Julie Schwarz. And where are you from, Julie?
I actually grew up in New Buffalo.
Okay.
So a graduate of New Buffalo High School.
Very good.
And my husband and I live in Sawyer now.
Excellent. Okay, so you're from the area, yeah. You're in the area, and now you've got a really cool art exhibit that we want to talk about that's going to be at the Acorn Theater. And so we'll start the interview in just a couple of minutes after news, if that's all right.
Oh, yeah.
And wow, is that a Polaroid land camera you have over there?
It is an SX70.
Ooh, that is fantastic. Where in the world do you get film for these things?
Well, Polaroid went out of business.
Yeah.
And a group of former employees bought their old factory in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And they've been making new film for the old cameras since about 2010.
Get out.
And you could go to Best Buy and buy a pack of Polaroid now.
Would it fit in there?
Yes.
No kidding. Yeah. Okay. That is great to know, because I tell you, my and probably what really caught my eye is my grandparents were camera fanatics, yeah. And they had the Polaroids as well in these nice little leather cases, just like yours. Yep. and they gave them to me, and forever I've had them. Now, and I don't have any film.
Those could be the kind that you use peel apart. Polaroid,
oh yeah,
and they don't make film for that.
So I'm still out of luck.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, you know, someone. I mean, if they're making film in the Netherlands for that, there must be somebody who's doing a side gig of, hey, I can make this.
I think people try, but they like when these guys started, they had to redo the chemistry.
Okay.
Because I believe some of the chemicals you can't use anymore.
Yeah.
So they had to experiment and figure out what was going to work. And
let's talk about that at some point during this hour, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Because I think that's fascinating. All right. It's 7:03. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking with Julie Schwarz for this hour, get some of her background and some of her information about her art exhibit, and obviously we're going to talk about Polaroid film. Who knew? It's gonna be so cool. All right, we're going to be starting that interview after our news in just a minute, right here on WSJM.
Retrial on rape and sex assault charges. China ramping up military exercises not far from Taiwan.
The exercises held off the coast of its southern Fujian province, which faces Taiwan. It comes just a week after a massive air and sea drill it called punishment for Taiwan's president rejecting Beijing's claims of sovereignty. Ships were alerted to avoid the area during this latest live-fire exercise. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
South Korea today warning it may start sending weapons to Ukraine. That after North Korea allegedly started sending troops to Russia to help with the war. Both Russia and North Korea are denying that. The son of Hugh Hefner apparently wants Playboy back. Cooper Hefner reportedly willing to spend about $100 million to buy the brand from its current owners. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Meet Brian. He just got $5,000, and it was pretty easy. I'll tell you how in 10 seconds. Brian needed cash help. After being rejected by banks, he tried 27cash.com, told them how much he needed, even let them know he had bad credit. In minutes, 27cash.com found a lender who deposited $5,000 into his bank account the very next day. If you need cash help, even if you have bad credit, go to 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
53 degrees and some clouds out there to start the day. It is the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Look at the forecast. We've got clouds out there right now, 53 degrees in both St. Joseph and in Benton Harbor. We're going to keep the partly cloudy skies today, and there is going to be a 20% chance of showers. High today around 73 degrees. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 25. We'll keep similar conditions, drop the temperature a little bit for the forecast tonight. Some of the news that we've been following from the WSJM newsroom. We now know a little bit more about that large land sale that just happened in Allegan and Van Buren counties. Yesterday, we reported that some 650 acres of Blueberry Farm were purchased by a handful of different buyers. People's Company listing agent Brian Bergdale confirms that the plans for the land vary depending on which purchaser you talk with.
These events are to get people to come downtown and to see what we have.
Half are going to remain blueberries, and then I would say approximately half would be converted into some other form of crop, whether it be kind of a corn soybean rotation or some other form of vegetable, just depending on the buyer.
Now, Bergdale also told us some of the smaller tracts of land that were sold could be transformed into home lots. He did note that the sale prices were stronger than expected, about 20% higher than what was expected. The majority of the parcels are located within 5 miles of Lake Michigan, near Fenville, Bangor, Covert, and South Haven. The City of Niles and the Niles Downtown Development Authority are gearing up for their second annual Fall Festival this Saturday. The community will be celebrating the fall season with a variety of activities. Program manager Lisa Croteau tells us that there will be some new features added for this year.
Last year we had done it as kind of a 3-day event. We had events on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This year it's all kind of mushed into one day. So we'll have a bunch of extra folks that are there for the 4 to 5 downtown trick-or-treat.
Festival highlights include the new pumpkin carving contest. That'll run from 10 to noon on Saturday. The 25th annual Downtown Trick or Treat runs from 4 to 5, and the Fall Artisan Market in the evening runs 5 to 8 p.m.
These events are to get people to come downtown and to see what we have to offer. And I do believe that once you get out of your car and you're walking around and you start discovering all that downtown has to offer, it's what brings you back.
The event starts at 10 a.m. A full list of events is available on our website, WSJM.com. As Halloween approaches, the city of St. Joseph will host a truck or treat event for the children this Saturday. The city tells us they'll be at the John and Dee Dee Howard Ice Arena from 4 to 6 in the afternoon. On hand will be fire trucks, police vehicles, Department of Public Works trucks. I mean, who doesn't like a dump truck exhibit? That's cool. And they'll also have a Zamboni. The U.S. Coast Guard will also have a boat parked there. Perhaps more importantly, the city says they'll also have a whole ton of candy, literally a ton to give out. Parents, probably not a real ton. Parents are invited to bring their young ghosts and goblins dressed up for Halloween to collect the treats. Also, the young ones can get a close look at the fire trucks and the police trucks and the Zamboni, etc., while they're there as well. And in a sign of winter approaching, the Michigan Department of Transportation is preparing to shut down its roadside parks for the season. MDOT's Dan Weingarten tells us the state's roadside parks are small areas off the beaten path where drivers can take a break. The state maintains 85 of them, and most will close down for the winter starting on Halloween.
Roadside parks are rustic facilities. These are not the welcome centers or the rest areas with enclosed buildings and modern plumbing and vending machines and things like that. These are the more rustic facilities, most of them with pit toilets, some with running water, and they're usually located in scenic areas in the rural parts of our state.
Weingarten says because the roadside parks often have primitive accommodations, the water is prone to freezing during the winter if it's not shut off properly. Only a handful of the state's roadside parks will remain open after Halloween, and that includes the one roadside park in southwest Michigan. That's the Artesian Flow Park at 2031 M140 and about 2.5 miles south of Waterville 8. That one stays open all year round. The only other one that stays open all year round is in Tuscola County. We have a link for more information at our website, WSJM.com. That's a look at some of the news that we're covering this morning from the WSJM newsroom. It's 7:09. I'm Ken Lundberg. Thanks for listening to the WSJM Morning Show. We've got sports in just a moment. Also, we're going to begin our interview. We have an artist in the studio this morning. She is Julie Schwarz, and she's from the area of southwest Michigan, and she has a new exhibit that's starting at the Acorn Theater this month. It's running through December, and it's called, tell me what it's called.
A Symphony of Polaroids.
A Symphony of Polaroids. Sorry, I lost my place in my notes. A Symphony of Polaroids. And so we're going to be talking with her. We start that interview right now on the video live stream on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll come back and give you more in just a few moments right here on WSJM.
2 games on Monday Night Football, and each one.
All right. And good morning. Welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. Thank you for saving me there. A Symphony of Polaroids. I know I have it written down on my computer, but I was looking at my notes, and so.
It's okay. I better remember the title. So.
You should. You should. Did you name it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Have you been in the studios before?
I have.
Okay. Tell us about that.
also work at the Area Agency on Aging.
Excellent.
And I'm the education coordinator there. And
Very
so
nice.
I offer classes for seniors. And so I've been in here
Excellent.
promoting those.
Talking
before.
about those. Very good. Well, tell us just a little bit about yourself. What is your background?
So as I mentioned, I'm from New Buffalo, and then I went to Central Michigan University to study psychology. And my first job out of college was I was a sexual assault counselor at a domestic violence shelter.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I jumped in the deep end right
Boy,
away.
I'd say.
And then I got burned out and kind of moved back home here. And I got a job at the Area Agency on Aging in Indiana. And then kind of moved over to the one in St. Joe.
Yeah.
And kind of got burned out from that too. It's wonderful what you do there, but it can be depressing, after a little bit. And then I decided, well, I'd like to take pictures.
Yeah.
Nature photography was what I was first interested in. And I found a school out in Montana called Rocky Mountain School of Photography in Missoula, Montana. And they had what they call a summer intensive program.
Oh.
So I could just go out in June and come back in August and get all the education that I wanted. And
let's hold that right there, and we'll come back. So we're going to pick it up at give it to the name of the school again, the Rocky Mountain
School of Photography.
Rocky Mountain School of Photography. We'll pick it up right there because we have to get back on the airwaves. But already fascinating. And we'll begin continuing this conversation with Julie Schwarz in just a moment, right here on WSJM.
Pier Avenue, 2 doors down from Signature Toyota. Visit our showroom or shop our online store today.
Partly sunny skies to start today. We'll see increasing clouds and a chance of a few scattered showers this afternoon and early evening. High temperatures today in the lower 70s. As we head into tonight, we'll stay mostly cloudy. Again, a few scattered showers. We'll stay in the mid 50s. And then for Wednesday, a mix of the sun and clouds. High temperatures, though, only in the low 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
7:13 is the time. It's the WSJM Morning Show. 53 degrees outside, although the feels like temperature, I just checked it again, 47. Does it feel a little chilly out there this morning, Julie?
It was a little bit.
Yeah. Well, thank you for getting up and joining us on the WSJM Morning Show today. We have a guest in studio. It's Julie Schwarz. She is an artist, a photographer, and she has an exhibit, A Symphony of Polaroids, coming up at Three Oaks and at the Acorn Theater in Three Oaks. That's going to be exciting. But we've been talking a little bit about her background on the video live stream, and you're from the area. You raised in New Buffalo?
Yep.
Raised in New Buffalo. You're now living in Sawyer. But at some point, you discovered that you had a liking for photography. When did you start taking pictures?
Well, my first camera was when I was 10. It was a Polaroid one-step.
Okay.
I started, just taking, pictures like that. But in college, I decided I wanted to try, a real camera and do that. So I took a photography class there.
Did you do like 35 millimeter film?
35 millimeter.
Did you develop it yourself and all that?
All
okay.
that. And
did you ever flood the darkroom?
No.
Okay.
No, thank goodness.
I did. Yeah. Just once. Yeah. So
once is enough, right?
Yeah.
But so I found out I really like that. And then my husband and I, we used to go backpacking and camping all the time and started really enjoying nature photography.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought I wanted to do.
Okay.
After realizing that I needed to step away from social work and things like that, I thought, well, I want to go to photography school, but I didn't want to spend another, 4 years or something going to school. And I found this Rocky Mountain School of Photography where I could go out for just the summer.
And that's out in Missoula, Montana. So you decided, okay, I want to foster my artwork here. I want to grow it. And so you went out to the school. What was that like?
Oh, it was great. And when they say summer intensive, it was really intensive. The guy who runs the school had been taught by Ansel Adams himself. So we got to learn a lot of that and everything from the dark room to commercial photography. And so it was a lot, in one session, but I really enjoyed it and I learned a ton. But I also learned that when I left, to me, my pictures look like everybody else's. And, you know, I didn't really want that. So
You wanted to stand apart.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I heard about this thing that you could do with Polaroid. You can hand alter it by, they used to tell you not to touch the Polaroid.
Yes.
So you could kind of smush the emulsion around before it dried because it would take hours to dry
Okay.
this certain type of Polaroid film. And I heard about that when I was at school. And then when I came home, my husband found a Polaroid for me at a garage sale, and I bought a book and just taught myself from there. And that's how I got started, was
Okay.
doing smushing around Polaroids, and they look like paintings then.
Okay.
And so I was doing that for years, and
Wow.
then Polaroid stopped making their film.
Yeah.
And so I bought a bunch and, you know, was more selective. And right when I got to my last pack of Polaroid, this new group of former employees were putting out their new Polaroid film.
Okay. Okay. Let's back up just a couple of steps. So when you were before you got into the Polaroid, and we'll address that in just a moment. Before you got into Polaroid cameras, you were on the 35 millimeter
Yes.
platform. Canon, Nikon.
I had a Pentax.
A Pentax.
But it was stolen.
Oh no!
Right before I was going to go to school, we
Oh,
were parked
no.
and somebody busted the window of our car and stole
Oh,
it.
you're kidding.
So then I bought a Nikon.
Okay.
So
All right. So and what kind of lenses were you using? I mean, telephoto.
I couldn't afford the big ones.
Yeah,
Like up to 300.
Okay.
But I found that I mostly I do a lot of macro,
Okay.
really up close
Yeah.
photography. So I end up, my stuff usually is intimate, get
Okay.
right in there. So
And the reason I ask that is because with a Polaroid camera, the Instamatics,
Mhm.
you have all kinds of lens options as long as you like the one that's on it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. They have made a new one that I can use
Yeah.
on here. It's a close-up lens
Okay.
that I kind of put on.
So
there.
it's like a layer. You can
Mhm.
just attach it,
Yep.
and you can get a better macro magnification. Okay, that's fascinating. So you had the Nikon. You went to the photography school, and I was going to ask you about Ansel Adams. I mean, he's renowned for all the nature landscapes that he did. I mean, what are some of the key elements? Because I mean, everyone's an artist now because we have because we all have cameras in our pockets, the smartphones that we can do all kinds of funky stuff with. But what are the key elements for a photographer to understand as they start taking pictures? How do you compose? And really, this is a selfish ask because I want pictures on Facebook and Instagram, et cetera, to be even better.
Yeah.
So what should they know?
So lighting
Lighting is key.
and then your eye, and you can't really teach it.
Right.
Either you have the eye or you don't. Like my mom used to take pictures, and you just cut off people's heads and stuff like
The
that.
forehead gone. Yeah.
So but lighting is a big deal. And I don't do any digital or cell phone photos. So I'm not good for that, but I can tell you how to take a good Polaroid.
Yeah. And so when you set up for framing a Polaroid or lighting a Polaroid, what is that process like?
So what I really like, and what I tell like younger people that are in my booth, with Polaroid, you have to take your time and frame it in the picture because you just got one shot.
Right.
It's what you get. What comes out is what you get.
Okay.
So you really need to take your time, look through that lens and see what's there and what's not there. For me, I always say background is everything. So even though you're taking a picture of somebody, if you got a bunch of junk in the background,
Right.
it just, disrupts the picture. So always look at your background, always have good lighting, makes a big difference. And with Polaroid, especially, you need a lot of light.
Okay.
So when I was a kid with Polaroid, I would take pictures of people in the house, so that's how,
Was this the old picture that you everyone has taken, at least I have, if you've taken a Polaroid instant picture, is the person is really lit up, great.
Yes.
And then the background is just totally dark.
Totally dark. Yep, exactly.
Okay. We're talking with Julie Schwarz. She has an art exhibit called A Symphony of Polaroids. It's at the Acorn Theater, which they usually have music artists.
Oh, yeah.
and great music artists. And it's a fun venue to see music in. But I was surprised to see that they are having art as well. Is this something new?
Yeah, this is new. I think they just started it last year, I believe.
Okay.
And they put a call out for artists, to exhibit there. And so they're really trying to get all the different kind of arts in there. And they show movies sometimes.
Okay.
I've seen movies there. Lots of great bands. We go there all the time. That's where we get our entertainment, really.
So you have going back to the timeline, you were raised here, you went to school, you went into social work, a little bit burned out on that, so you decided to pursue more of your art. Would you consider it an outlet, a profession, all the above? How do you characterize it?
A profession.
Okay.
No, yes. But I did
because you have pieces all over the world now.
Yep. That people, because we mostly travel and do outdoor art shows, and you get people from all over. And so I've had people from Germany and England and Canada that have bought some of my pictures, and so that was a thrill.
That must be. And so when you put your pictures together, maybe describe that process.
So my husband makes the frames.
Okay.
He hand makes the frames. So when you get a piece of our artwork, everything is handmade. So I take the pictures and he makes the frames and cuts the glass and cuts the mats for me because he's much better at, doing all that.
Yeah.
And then I put it together. And I have.
You have examples? Yeah, pull them up. And if
So-
you're watching on the video live stream, you can see what she's talking about, and it's very unique.
Yeah. So this is one of his frames. And what I do is it's called float mounting.
Okay.
So I stick the picture onto a mat board and then do the white mat around it. So it kind of gives it room.
Yeah.
Room in here. And so like, for example, each one of these is a separate Polaroid picture.
And
what I do is I take 1 picture, 2 pictures, 3 pictures, and I trim off that white border of the Polaroid, and then I puzzle them together.
Yeah,
to make a bigger piece.
For those who are just listening on the radio, I'm going to describe this. It's probably what size frame is that?
It's about a 12 by 16.
Okay, so a 12 by 16 frame, and looking at it vertically, essentially you have a white mat framing a beige, dark brown mat. And then within that centerpiece is, in this case, a picture of a saxophone. And there are 3 different Polaroids that have been trimmed, and it's black and white.
Black and white.
Black and white, and they're arranged together in a very unique way. So I'm just trying to think about how in the world do you make sure that you have the setting correct so that the size matches up with everything.
Yeah, and I do it all by hand. I don't use a tripod or anything. I just kind of lean over the whatever instrument I'm doing and kind of make sure I've got it in focus and just move back and forth because I like to have some movement, in this, and then hope that they match up.
How do you choose your subjects?
Some of it, like I started doing instruments because a woman asked me if I could do a guitar. And that was before I had my first, I call these collaging of the Polaroids. The first collaging I started to do were of trees. And I still do those. I love those. Usually leafless trees.
Okay.
And
so your season is coming up.
Yes, it is. I wait for that. And in Polaroid, it's really fickle.
Okay.
You can't, it needs to be above 55 degrees, to take the picture.
Oh,
or
goodness.
you can stick it under your arm and warm it up.
That sounds fun.
And you need a lot of light.
Okay.
So once the leaves fall off the trees, I have just a short amount of time before the temperature drops. And I need bright sunlight. And, our winters around here are really gray. So I have to, when I see the sun is out and we have a good day, I got to go out and get some pictures.
Wow. How many Polaroid cameras do you have?
I have a lot because people have given them to me. Like they'll see, oh, I don't use this anymore. And so they've given me some. I've bought some too. If I find them at a garage sale, I usually get them, because they're cheap and just make sure they work. So I have different ones. This one is the one I use indoors.
Okay. And what is that one? Tell us what that is.
This is the Polaroid SX70 land camera Alpha 1 is
Okay.
and it's the ones that has the leather or pleather on it. And that's one of the first ones. It's one of the higher quality. The lens is glass rather than plastic, and so it's a higher quality one. And I do have some regular old plastic ones that I take when I go outside so that I don't ruin the good one.
How do you care for those cameras? Like, do you need batteries for these things?
No, the Polaroid has the battery in it.
Okay.
One of the things
The Polaroid, like the film itself?
the film cartridge itself.
Oh,
always
that's
had
right,
a-
because you put the thing in
Mhm,
it.
and
That
you
has the
put-
battery in. That's
yep.
where they put it.
Yep.
Oh.
Now they have started this group. They first called themselves the Impossible Project. This employees of the.
This is the film thing. Let's
Mhm.
hold that one for
Okay.
just a moment. So we're going to explore, because you think to yourself, okay, well, we have an old Polaroid camera in the attic.
Yeah.
Sure, now I can get film. Well, you can't get film in a lot of places, and for many years they stopped making the film altogether. But what is old is new again,
Mhm.
and so they've brought it back. They figured out a way. And we're going to explore that here in just a moment with Julie Schwarz. She's an artist who's here. She's got an exhibit coming up at the Acorn Theater. It's called A Symphony of Polaroids. And it's going on from, is it up now?
Yes.
It's up now
Mhm.
through December at the Acorn in Three Oaks. So we'll talk more with her about that and get the secrets behind where in the world she finds film for these old cameras. That's coming up in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll continue this discussion right now on the video live stream.
What would you call a free account that helps save automatically?
All right. Thank you for letting me explore all these questions.
Oh, please. I just figure ask questions. I can always come up with an answer.
We have just checking in on our video live stream. My son is stalking us. Stuart. Good morning, Stuart. All right. You can stop with the one word comments there. That's good. He says, nice, amazing. And he says, I have. I don't know what he has, but he has something. He's in college in New York, and so he loves to stalk my show.
Yeah.
Bill also says, good morning. We've got a couple other folks there as well. So we were talking just a moment ago about the film. And so the camera that you have there, the SX70, what year would you say that was produced? One of the years?
Early 70s.
Okay, so early 1970s.
Yes.
So if I do math real quick, we're talking about 60, close to 50 some odd years ago.
Mhm.
50 some odd years ago. Probably not making the film. When did they stop making the film?
So they stopped. Polaroid went out of business in 2006.
Okay.
And then this group of former employees were, working to try to get it to come up, to be able to make it again. It was
Okay.
a labor of love, and they called themselves the Impossible Project
Okay.
because they thought it was going to be an impossible
Right.
project.
Sure.
And they, tried a few things, and then they finally got it up and going in about 2010.
Okay.
Yeah. So
2006, Polaroid goes out of business,
Yeah.
and all these people with Polaroid cameras are wondering, where in the world am I going to get my film?
Yeah.
And 2010, they receive their answer.
yes.
So, and they make it in the Netherlands?
In the Netherlands, but
Wow.
they do have a warehouse here in Tennessee.
Okay.
So when I order film from Polaroid.com, because I like the black and white. So here's a
Okay.
little
Oh,
the box.
I had
that
no
it
idea
comes
they
in.
made black and white film for
Yeah,
Polaroid.
they didn't
Okay.
until these guys. And
Oh.
I started out doing black and white
Okay.
in the dark room, and then I went to color Polaroid when I was doing that, and then right back now to black and white, and I just really like it. And sometimes so Polaroid, I say she's a fickle mistress because you really don't know what you're going to get when
Yeah.
it comes out. And sometimes the black and white kind of turns to sepia,
Okay.
and which I think looks really great
Pretty,
too.
sure.
So I've got a variety of different.
She's a fickle mistress.
Yes.
So in that way that you don't know really what
Yeah.
color is going to happen, what factors go into determining what kind of color is going to come out?
Usually the colder it is, the more black and white. And
Okay.
when it's warm out, when it's really hot, and humidity will affect it too, will make it turn a little more sepia.
This all sounds a little dangerous, Julie, just to be honest with you. It's like the chemicals that we're using change with the temperature. We're talking with Julie Schwarz. She has an exhibit right now. It's called A Symphony of Polaroids at the Acorn Theater. And we're listening to the Bloomberg Report on the radio right now. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about some of the things. So we've chronology. I feel like we're jumping around quite a bit, so I apologize for that. But chronologically speaking, you start taking pictures, and then at some point you decide this is going to become my profession. So we'll talk about that transition, what that looked like, and what that looks like now in just a few minutes, right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll be right back.
November 4th. Lieberman previously worked at Chipotle and at Yum Brands, but was most recently at Yahoo. Starbucks also confirmed the departure of Kendra Russell, who was Chief Marketing Officer for North America. Stocks were mixed to start the week on Wall Street. The Dow fell 344 points. The S&P 500 slid 11, both pulling back from recent record highs. The Nasdaq was up 50. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And thank you so much for joining us on the WSJM Morning Show. 7:32. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. We have a special guest in studio this hour, Julie Schwarz, a photographer. She uses Polaroid cameras and Polaroid film to create works of art. And her art exhibit is happening now till the end of December at the Acorn Theater in Three Oaks. And the exhibit is called A Symphony of Polaroids. And the title gives it away a little bit. It's a lot of musical instruments, correct?
Yes, a lot of musical instruments. I also do collages of old 45s and album covers, typewriters, cassette tapes.
Okay.
Just all sorts of.
And these are on exhibit right now.
Yes.
At the Acorn.
At the Acorn.
And you can go to the Acorn's website for their hours, etc. But are these those pictures that are at the exhibit, those artworks, are those for sale?
Yes, they're for sale, and I have the contact information there.
Okay.
You can contact me if you see something you like there. I also do commissions.
Okay.
Sometimes people want their own instrument.
I want to ask you about that. Yeah.
I've done instruments for people as gifts, for others. I want to
No, I was going to ask you. I want to ask you in just a moment the most famous person you've worked with as well.
Oh, as far as taking pictures for them or of them.
Yeah. If you can tell us.
Yeah. And I can't remember his name, but he was a clarinetist at the Detroit Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah.
And so I did some his clarinet.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Some of his was that a gift for him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. His family arranged it, and then So
that's what you didn't break any of them, did you?
No. In fact, when it's something like that, I'm like, you set it up. I'll tell you where I want it. And
you
I don't
touch
it.
I'm not taking any liability whatsoever. Yeah, because those clarinets, they were expensive.
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll be back with more of this discussion with Julie in just a few moments. Julie Schwarz, an artist, she's got an exhibit happening right now at the Acorn. We'll talk about that and other things coming up on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got news now. Let's do ABC News, and then we'll come back and talk about our local news.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. It's his 11th trip to the region since the Hamas attacks of October 7th, 2023. Secretary of State Antony Blinken back in Israel in hopes of reviving ceasefire talks following the killing of top Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. 2 weeks out from Election Day, Kamala Harris barnstorming with former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, a Republican in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. ABC's Rachel Scott has more on Donald Trump in North Carolina.
At his rally in Greenville, Trump promising mass deportations, vowing to invoke an 18th century law that allows officials to detain people from other countries that the U.S. is at war with. It was last used to justify Japanese internment during World War II.
Think of that. 1798. That's when we had real politicians that said we're not going to play games. We have to go back to 1798.
A day after the New York Liberty won its first WNBA championship, the Players Union announced it's opting out of its collective bargaining agreement to demand higher pay.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It is the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. 7:35. The temperature outside right now under partly cloudy skies, 52 degrees in Benton Harbor, 53 in St. Joseph, 51 in South Haven and Buchanan. It's 50, and in Dowagiac, it's 50 degrees right now. Niles is reporting 49 degrees. But the forecast for today does look pretty decent. We're going to have a partly cloudy day, just a 20% chance of showers. It doesn't feel like rain, so we'll call that limited shower activity. High around 73 degrees. South winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Gusts up to 25. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy, 20% chance of showers. Low around 55. South winds 10 to 15 with gusts to 25 continuing. Wednesday, partly sunny, a high around 64. Northwest winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. The extended forecast, looking at Thursday, partly sunny, high around 60. Friday, mostly cloudy, a 30% chance of showers on Friday with a high of 66. Saturday, partly sunny. Sunday, partly sunny. Highs both those days around 60, and the lows not getting anywhere near the freezing mark, although on Saturday, we're probably going to see a low around 37 degrees. We're continuing our discussion with Julie Schwarz. She is an artist who takes a lot of cool Polaroid pictures. And in fact, she has a show right now called A Symphony of Polaroids at the Acorn. We'll talk more with her in just a moment after we get our local news, some of the news that we're going to tell you about at 8 o'clock. Benton Harbor City Commissioners have taken more steps to move Project T forward. If you know Project T, it's the commercial and housing development planned for the site of the former Mercy Hospital building in Benton Harbor. It's being developed by Harbor Habitat and Detroit-based Renovair and is planned to include a mix of duplexes, apartments, and retail space. We'll tell you the latest steps that they've taken on that project coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. The village of Stevensville is launching a crowdfunding campaign to help pay for the construction of a pavilion at Hickory Creek Park. Village manager Casey Dominguez tells us the village in 2021 secured a $150,000 grant from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources to build the pavilion with restrooms at the park. However, they still haven't moved that project forward, in part because the costs went up too high. And so now they're doing a crowdsourcing campaign to see if they can raise the monies to finish that project. We'll tell you more about that at 8 o'clock. And then also set for tonight in Benton Harbor is the Emerge Innovation Hub's 4th annual Pitch Fest. Emerge president Andrew Robinson tells us this is a chance for about a dozen entrepreneurs who have big ideas to pitch those ideas to a crowd that will include family, friends, some corporate voices from around town, and investors, people with money ready to invest. And so we'll talk to you a little bit more about Pitch Fest. That's coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. We'll continue our interview in just a moment right here on the video live stream. But right now, we're going to get a look at state news, and then we'll check in with Dave Wolf for sports.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Ryan Recker.
Okay, and back on the video live stream. Good morning once again. Thanks for joining us. I am Ken Lundberg. It is the WSJM Morning Show, and we have Julie Schwarz with us you're currently living in Sawyer.
Yes.
Sawyer's a beautiful place.
It is.
A beautiful place. You take pictures your love of pictures for trees. You love taking pictures of trees. You're currently doing a lot of instruments.
Yes.
What else have you done?
Pretty much I'm stuck in the 70s. And so
Is that why there's a Pinto outside? No.
Exactly. I do a lot of nostalgia stuff
Okay.
and a lot of times we go around to garage sales and thrift stores,
Yeah.
and I may find something that I purchase, and then
Is that where you pick up the 45s?
some of them, but a lot of them are mine.
Okay.
From
You're not scratching them when you're taking pictures, are you?
No.
Talk about some of the 45s that you have pictures of.
Right now at the Acorn, I have 2 Beatles 45s, the Can't Buy Me Love and All I Need Is Love.
Okay.
And then I also did The Doors, Love Street, and Roxy Music, Love is a Drug. I was doing a love theme.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems to be popular, that love thing. So, no, that's good. That's good. How long does it take you start to finish to create a piece?
So I take the picture and I, do my collaging with the picture, and then I let it sit for at least a week because it needs to dry a little bit.
Okay.
I wait for at least a week, and then I trim it up and puzzle it together, hoping that it all goes together.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't really have a timeline, but it's usually a couple weeks.
Okay.
And then once I put it together, if it's one that I have some that are regular size, so we know that they're going to be a certain size. So my husband makes some frames that I can just go and pick out which one goes best with that. And then like the instruments, we have to measure them, and then he makes frames specifically for those pieces.
Wow. And for commissions, do you for commissions, I mean, what does that process look like?
Somebody contacts me
Yeah.
and ask if I can, do like I did a ukulele for somebody in St. Joe I was at the Krazel Art,
Yeah.
and they said, "Do you have any ukuleles?" And I said, "No, but I can do a commission."
Yeah.
And they contacted me, and then usually I either go to someone's home or they come to me and take the picture.
Yeah.
And take a couple. I usually do a couple versions, and then I'll give them the choice of whatever they want, and then I'll use the rest in my inventory.
Do you primarily do black and white?
Yes, I do some color,
Okay.
but the Polaroid color film I don't like as much
Okay.
as the
Why
black
not?
and white. It doesn't I mean, it has the color that they used to have like from the 70s, which
Yeah.
gives it that old look. But when I was doing the what I called the smushing of the Polaroid,
Yes.
those color film was just really bright, and it was, the colors were almost didn't look real. They were
Okay.
so bright, and I really liked that. So I haven't really I
So when you talk about the emulsion and
Mhm.
smooshing them around, the thing I remember most from taking Polaroid pictures is you shake
Yeah.
the photo. Why were we doing that?
I don't know, because really that
Does it do
doesn't
anything?
work. No,
It doesn't
no,
do anything?
no, and it can
Oh.
actually maybe accidentally bend it and
Oh.
put a crease or something.
So don't shake the
don't
photos.
shake the Polaroid.
All right. You were talking a moment ago how the battery is in the have we talked about have we exhausted the film? So what happens? So the film piece.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So they make a couple different kinds of film. So
All
they
right.
make film for the old cameras,
All right.
and those cartridges have batteries in them.
Okay.
When they started to make their own cameras now.
Oh,
So
they make
have
their own
new
cameras.
also.
What is this website? Do you know?
Polaroid.com.
Oh, that's it. Just
Yep.
Polaroid.
Polaroid.com.
Okay.
So they were first the Impossible Project.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't use the Polaroid name.
Yeah.
And then the Polaroid.
But once they succeeded.
once the trademark
Okay.
fell to the wayside, they got it. So then it's just been maybe 5 years or so ago that they've been able to call themselves Polaroid.
Okay. What a smart group of engineers.
Yeah, yep.
That's
And
really
so
cool.
they started making new cameras, and then they're making film to go in those cameras that doesn't have a battery in it.
Okay.
So that film is a little bit cheaper,
All
or
right.
more cost effective.
I did want to talk about that a little bit. So when you buy here, hold up one of your boxes that you had the black and white there.
Yeah.
What is that? How many exposures are in that?
8.
8 exposures.
Yeah.
And how much is that box, if I might ask?
So this one is their new film that doesn't have the battery in it, so it's a little cheaper.
Okay.
And this is, I think, around $16 or $17
Okay.
a pack. And then for the film that has the battery in it, comes in an 8-pack, and it's about $19.
Okay.
So
Wow.
so you want to be, that's why I tell, if kids, I got a Polaroid camera,
Yeah.
I say, you want to slow down, and it actually helps to compose pictures. It helps your artist's eye by
Yeah.
looking through the lens and, let's see, look
Framing
through
it.
here and then composing it and
Yeah.
trying to
That is
get
so
an
cool.
artistic view of what you want to do.
What's the biggest challenge you have when you start a project?
So as I mentioned, Polaroid, you really don't know always. Like sometimes I'm taking a picture all in the same light, and
Yeah.
one will come out a little darker and the other one comes out a little lighter. And for a lot of people that would drive them crazy. And for
Yeah.
me, I just like it. I like not knowing and just taking what's given to me and coming up with something for it. So kind of not knowing is what I enjoy, but it's also hard.
It's also one of the bigger challenges.
Yes.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, because especially if you're not in a fixed lighting situation, if you're
Yeah.
not inside
Mhm.
or in a studio,
Yeah.
you're outside, then the lighting is going to
Yes.
change.
Yeah, and like I
Rapidly.
mentioned with the weather,
Yeah.
with especially when I want to do leafless trees, so that's a challenge. Is the trying to get the correct weather and the lighting and everything.
Yeah, you're listening to the WSJM Morning Show. We have Julie Schwarz with us. She is a photographer, an artist, and she has an exhibit that's happening right now at the Acorn. It's going through the end of December. We'll talk about more about her artistry in just a moment, and we're going to get a weather forecast from Carrie Peugeot and come right back right here on the Morning Show.
5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Partly sunny skies to start today. We'll see increasing clouds and a chance of a few scattered showers this afternoon and early evening. High temperatures today in the lower 70s. As we head into tonight, we'll stay mostly cloudy. Again, a few scattered showers. We'll stay in the mid 50s. And then for Wednesday, a mix of the sun and clouds. High temperatures, though, only in the low 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, what's old is new again. We were just talking about the microphone in here and how it doesn't want to stay put today. But I'm Ken Lundberg. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We'll do the Moody on the Market update in just a couple of minutes, but we're talking with Julie Schwarz. She has an exhibit that's happening right now. It's called A Symphony of Polaroids, and we invited her into the studio to talk a little bit about her artwork, her background, her experiences. Interesting experiences out while you're outside taking Polaroids? Any bears?
Yeah, no. Most of the time, if I'm, I usually take a picture of like trees from the street, but there are times where I have to go ask permission. So that's always interesting.
To take picture of a tree?
Well, if it's in someone's yard.
Oh, okay.
If I have
You
to
want the
go-
right angle.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
If I'm, and also we, with my husband's frames, we get wood, like old barn wood,
Okay.
and we use reclaimed wood.
Yes.
And so he's had to, like, someone is taken down a barn or they're removing a fence and the stuff is there, going to knock on someone's door
Yeah.
it can be a little challenging. But most people have been, a lot of times we'll make them, a frame or frame something for them or trade them artwork for the wood.
Do you? And before I forget, you actually, I had asked you earlier, had you been in the studios, and you had, because you've been promoting different programs. But you also have a relative who used to work here.
Yes, Scott Schwartz.
Oh,
is
really?
My brother. Yep,
Okay.
He used to work here in the 80s.
Okay, all right.
A
And he
long
worked
time.
with Phil.
Yeah, he knew Phil. Yeah.
Phil McDonald?
Yep. So.
Okay, who's on our coaches show every Saturday morning at 8:00 from Full Circle Cafe.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Well, we've got a couple more questions. We need to come back and do the Moody on the Market updates. We'll have that in just a moment. We're talking with Julie Schwarz. She has an exhibit that's on right now at the Acorn Theater in Three Oaks. It's called A Symphony of Polaroids. Before we go to break, though, I do want to ask you, do you do any other art, or is this your primary focus? You stay true to this?
I stay true to this. I have did some painting. I took like a painting class and stuff to more abstract type painting, just for my own, sometimes you want to kind of get out of your head in a new creative field.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe we'll look for some of that as well.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back with more of this interview in a moment, right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Hi, Jenny from Big Deals, announcing that shopping locally at your Big Deal store just got easier. Imagine buying a gift certificate and having it delivered right to your smartphone, available in just seconds. That's right. No more waiting for certificates in the mail. Go to our website and look for those businesses with a cell phone icon next to it. Buy it and use it with just a couple of clicks. Try them today. You'll love them.
Don't wait. Go to bigdealsswmi.com today.
Are you sick of personal attacks and negative campaigning? I'm Bill Huizenga, and I want you to hear directly from me that my top priority is serving you. That's why I've been a leading voice in restarting the Palisades nuclear power plant so that our community can have good-paying jobs and clean, reliable energy. And that's why I've championed the effort to preserve and strengthen both the ecology and the economy of the Great Lakes. And that's why I proudly took on the IRS and won when they wronged the taxpayers of Ottawa County. That's why I stood up for Southwest Michigan veterans to make sure that their benefits.
All right. So I was just asking Julie, is there anything that we must mention? And she reminded me about the artist reception that's happening next Tuesday, October 29th at 7 p.m., the 29th, Tuesday, 7 p.m. at the Acorn. And it's just, it's an opportunity for you to go see the artwork and some of the things. You've got the guitar, the saxophone, the microphone, and then also the accordion.
Yes.
Where in the world did you find that? Is that an accordion? Is that what you call that?
Yes, accordion. Yep. We found it at a antique store in LaPorte, Indiana. And I actually had people coming in my booth at the art shows, and they would say, "Do you have an accordion?" So I had quite a few people that had asked. So I thought, well, I better get an accordion. So
you bought the accordion?
I bought the accordion.
How much is an accordion at a yard sale?
This was like $40.
I would say that's reasonable.
Yeah,
I was thinking $50.
Yeah,
So $40, that's a deal right there.
Yeah.
You play it?
No, I try. It's really heavy.
It's a mystery to me. Yeah, no, that's good. All right. So the Acorn Center for the Performing Arts transforms into a visual art space with art at the Acorn. And so new artist Julie Schwarz and your exhibit at Symphony for Polaroids. Let's see. So the artist reception is free and open to the public. That's what I was looking for.
Yes.
There's a cash bar, though.
Yep. Cash bar, free, open to the public. They will have refreshments, and I'll be doing a Q&A with Janet Davies.
Okay.
She was from Chicago, and so we'll be doing that, and then they open up questions to the audience, too.
Okay. All right. We'll come back in just a moment and wrap up this interview with Julie, and more on the WSJM morning show in just a few moments. We have ABC News coming up at 8 o'clock. Thanks again for joining us on the video live stream. Good morning, Stuart. And yes, I did advise you to eat a good breakfast today. Make sure it has protein, eggs, whatever. You can have anything you want. All right. We'll be right back.
Stunning sites, more clicks.com today.
Stunning sites, more clicks. Web design done. Web sticks.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
And thanks for joining us. We're having a fun conversation with Julie Schwarz. She is an artist who has an exhibit that's happening right now at the Acorn in Three Oaks. And it's called A Symphony of Polaroids, and it's on view now through December. Again, art at the Acorn. Julie Schwarz, A Symphony of Polaroids. And Julie, we're talking about the film, and they have, you have a camera that's from the 1970s.
Yes.
And you found film. They make it in the Netherlands. They sell it out of a warehouse in Tennessee, which is really cool. But they have different kinds, stuff that you might not be familiar with if you were familiar with a Polaroid camera. What are you holding up there?
So this is a picture of an old microphone.
Okay.
And they make specialty films that come out every once in a while. Like this one is yellow and black.
That's pretty.
So I thought it kind of looked cool with the silver microphone just to make it all yellow and black.
Yeah.
And they do green and black right now. They've had some blue and black. So every once in a while they come out with specialty films.
Okay.
And it's just kind of cool to have a little bit of a different look to it.
Yeah, I'd say that looks really cool.
And again, I like to trim off the white border of because I love all these edgings on the back. Sometimes people think they're tintypes because of the edging on there. So.
But it's not.
It's not.
Yeah. No, that's really special. So you can see all the different artwork. And in fact, part of the Symphony of Polaroids, she has 45s, the old vinyl records with the big hole in the center. You take pictures of those as well.
Yes.
You ever do 33 1/3? What do you have against 33 1/3? What about 78s? You do 78s?
Not 78s,
no.
but
Cassette
I've
tapes?
done turntables with them on there. So I've got one at the Acorn right now with the collage, and I do a lot of Beatles stuff, and I also have a collection of 4 Beatles albums that are at the Acorn too.
Okay.
So I like doing that, and I've done other albums too, but Beatles seem to be very So.
Yeah. Do you do the fair over here?
Yes,
The
I've done
Krasl on
Krasl.
the Bluff.
Yep. And that's most of the ones we do are juried. So
Okay.
you have to apply,
Okay.
and you don't know if you're getting in or not, unless if you win an award, you get invited back. So I've been at Krazel for the last, I think, 3-4 years, right before COVID and,
Okay.
and after. But you never know if
Yeah.
you're going to get in or not. So
Yeah. We're talking with Julie Schwarz, and let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update, which is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. You can call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And the things we like to tell you about during the Moody on the Market update are business updates, obviously. We like to also tell you about interesting people you should know and life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here. And I think this fills those probably all three categories to some extent. But Julie, when did you know this was your profession? This is what you were going to do and make that transition. And what did that look like when you started, for lack of a better term, that business?
So when I went to school, right before then, and I was like, boy, I really want to do this. I want to, I used to say I wanted to stop listening to the horrors of human nature and record the beauty of nature itself. And when I went out there, they started talking about art shows. And I hadn't really been to many. But when I was reading about them, I thought, this is something that my husband and I can do together. And we're so used to backpacking and camping and all that setting up a tent and hauling stuff back and forth would be second nature. And I really like to be outside.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy doing the outdoor art shows. And I think when I first started thinking about the art shows, that's when it was like, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. So you got into it and you got hooked.
Yes.
Where have you done art shows?
All the way from the farthest west would be St. Louis, farthest east, Pittsburgh, farthest north would be Marquette in the UP, and farthest south is in Florida.
Okay.
So we, traveled around, but the older we get, that we don't travel as far. We do some shows in Chicago and northern Michigan and Indianapolis, but we don't travel as far.
Okay. Well, there's an opportunity for you to meet Julie and ask questions. Art at the Acorn, A Symphony of Polaroids, Julie Schwarz. There's an artist reception happening Tuesday, October 29th. So next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Tell us, what do we need to know about that?
They would like you to register.
Okay.
So go to the acorn.com, their website.
acornlive.org.
That's it.
/art-the-acorn/ Who put all those hyphens in there? Acornlive.org.
Yeah.
Just go there.
And you just go down to where you see my picture and information, the date, and you click on it and you register, but it's free.
Okay.
I think they just want to know how many people to expect.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. And that's happening Tuesday, 7 p.m. It's free of charge. They will have appetizers and a cash bar.
Cash bar.
You got to like the cash bar. All right. Well, Julie, thank you for joining us this morning. We really appreciate you. Thank you for filling us in on all the process and your background and what you've brought to Southwest Michigan. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Thank you for joining us. We've got ABC News coming up in just a minute.
I needed something that would show off our brand, something our team would be proud to wear.
We'll say goodbye to the folks on the video live stream. Thank you for joining us on the video live stream today. Any parting words for our folks here?
No, if you're interested in photography, just remember background is everything and take your time.
Take your time and composition and make sure you have good lighting.
Yes.
Okay. The lighting you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It can be anything. Yeah.
All right. Julie, thank you for joining us. We'll be following you as well. All right. Thank you and good morning. It's the WSJM Morning Show, ending the live stream, getting into ABC News. And thanks again for joining us on the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Let's do the quick forecast right now before we get to ABC News. Today's forecast does call for partly cloudy skies, a 20% chance of rain showers. A high today around 73 degrees. We're going to have south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, let's say, with gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Same conditions for tonight, mostly cloudy, 20% chance of showers. The low overnight is going to be around 55 degrees with that wind continuing. Wednesday's forecast, partly sunny, a high around 64, and northwest winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Thank you so much for joining us. The ABC News is now, then our WSJM News is next. It's 8 o'clock.